Okay, so when you hear the name Jesse James today, you probably think, custom bikes, reality TV, maybe that whole thing with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, the celebrity persona is huge. But the source material we're diving into today, his own memoir, it just strips all that away.
It really does. It reveals this life just built on chaos, sometimes violent chaos, and this constant need to, manufacture an outlaw identity.
Exactly. And that's the paradox we really want to unpack for you. This isn't just about fame, it's almost a case study in self-sabotage.
Right. The identity he built, the outlaw thing, it seemed to need conflict. It thrived on it. But then it completely blew up the stability he seemed to find later.
So our mission here really is to pull out the key insights from this incredibly turbulent life story.
We need to connect the dots for you from his really chaotic childhood to the patterns of abuse you see later, and then that very, very public fall from grace.
And it starts so early. The foundation for all that chaos, it was laid right at the beginning.
Yeah, he talks about one of his first memories being maybe 6 years old.
Yeah, screaming match between his parents, and it ends with his dad punching something, breaking his hand. Violence and instability were just normal, the default setting.
And it just ramps up from there.
Yeah.
By 14, he calls himself a huge, strong, confused, zit-faced punk.
Yeah. And his main goal, stealing stuff from the local mall with his buddy Bobby. Organized petty crime, basically.
But it wasn't just random smashing and grabbing, was it? There was a technical side to it.
That's what's fascinating. He details the mechanics of stealing cars, how a real operator could do it in 30 seconds flat. Screwdriver, rubber mallet, done.
You see that technical obsession that fueled West Coast choppers. But it started with crime. The focus was there, just pointed differently.
And that skill, that mindset, it led to robbing a burger stand, using his dad's Ruger .357, no less.
And it wasn't really about the money, was it? More about pushing boundaries.
Exactly. Boundaries that weren't really there anyway, because his dad was always off wheeling and dealing, just not present. Classic neglect.
Which leads to this awful moment when he's 15. His dad just snaps.
Yeah. Refuses to buy him school clothes, fist slams on the table, then later accuses him of burning the house down with fireworks.
And when Jesse denies it,
Yeah.
his dad punches him, breaks his nose. He describes it as all the force of a grown man's hate. Just brutal.
And that punch, that moment, it just cements his identity, doesn't it? He's an outsider. Fighting the system is the only way.
Which is kind of how he ends up in the California Youth Authority, the CYA. Juvenile prison, essentially, for burglary.
Right. And that incarceration, that's a huge turning point. He loses college football scholarship offers.
So trying to play by the rules didn't work. The system punished him anyway. It just reinforces the whole outlaw thing.
So after CYA, he needs an escape. He needs money. And that leads him, maybe surprisingly, to Seattle.
How did that happen again?
Finds an ad, right? Skilled welders, fabricators, paying $1,000 a week. Good money.
But there was a catch.
Yeah, the job needed aluminum TIG welding, which he didn't know how to do.
So he just lied.
Bluffed his way in. Incredible audacity. But here's where that technical focus finds a productive outlet for the first time.
Welding became more than just a job.
Totally. He says he felt great taking chaos and made order of it. That's a direct quote. He worked totally alone for 10 months up there.
And he wasn't lonely. He kind of absorbed the solitude, found something powerful in it.
Yeah. And that skill, that welding mastery, it becomes part of his persona when he gets back to Long Beach.
He starts building custom stuff, right? Like that VW for Rhonda.
Yeah.
Made from stolen parts, naturally.
Of course. And he leverages that tough guy image, the skills, his size, into doing security work.
Including for some pretty big names, like Glenn Danzig.
Right. And that security work leads to another key moment, a real turning point in how he saw things.
The punk show incident.
Exactly. He sees this big security guard just seriously injure a kid, maybe 12 years old, who was crowd surfing. And Jesse says he was devastated.
We realized the whole security culture was just meatheads rule this job.
Yeah. And it forces him to shift. Instead of just being aggressive, he starts thinking about control, about training security to use less force, trying not to be the punk anymore.
It's like he's trying to impose order again, but on a system this time.
You could see it that way. And all the technical skill, the outlaw image he's carefully building, the desire for control, it all comes together with West Coast choppers.
Inspired by guys like Chip Foose, right? Start small in his mom's garage.
Yep. Making custom fenders, but obsessing over quality, making, quote, bitching stuff, and adopts that Maltese cross logo. Very hardcore.
And it just takes off instantly. Validates the whole persona.
Oh, big time. Daytona. They sell something like $680,000 worth of T-shirts in 3 days. Just insane growth.
But that success, that validation, it pulls him right back into the chaos, doesn't it?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Excessive drinking, bar fights. Like, he had to keep proving he was still that angry punk, even with all the success.
And that chaos spills right over into his personal life. His first marriage seems doomed from the start.
Yeah, to Carla. He says he only married her because she was pregnant and basically insisted he had reservations.
And the marriage just crumbles. He's working constantly, drinking, fighting.
She's telling him, I don't see you. Chandler's learning how to walk. It's heartbreaking, but he's caught in that cycle.
Until the drinking stops. That airplane incident sounds terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Flying back from Daytona, locked in the bathroom, vomiting, phlegm and blood. He looks down and just realizes, this isn't me.
And he quits. Cold turkey.
Yeah.
And sticks to it. That's a huge amount of willpower.
It is. But quitting drinking didn't fix the underlying chaos, especially in relationships.
No, because after divorcing Carla, he marries Janine Lindemulder.
A famous adult film star, feature dancer. And this is where the psychology gets really stark.
He says he was drawn to her because she reminded him of his past abusers, right?
Yeah, his own words. A perverse consolidation of all the pissed off, tweaked out stepmoms I'd ever had. He's literally seeking out the trauma dynamic.
It's kind of staggering how self-aware that is, yet he still walks right into it.
Exactly. And the relationship immediately turns violent. She punches him over a parking spot, almost runs him over, throws keys in his face.
It's the same pattern. He recognizes he's repeating the abuse cycle from his childhood, but he's still in it. Why? What's the pull?
Well, it's what he knows, isn't it? The familiarity of trauma, that outlaw identity he built. It maybe didn't know how to handle stable affection. It only recognized drama, conflict, the fight for survival. It's textbook trauma repetition, in a way.
While all this personal chaos is swirling, his public profile just explodes. Monster Garage.
Right. Tom Beers from Discovery pitches him a show. But Jesse insists, no, not just bikes, mutant cars.
He wants lowrider Zambonas, cars that explode, high stakes, engineered chaos again, building his TV fame on the same foundation.
Which makes the arrival of Sandra Bullock even more profound.
Yeah, late 2004. She brings her godson to the shop, and things change.
For a while, yeah. Their courtship was apparently slow, built on friendship first. And she gets him to open up about his past, the violence with his dad, stuff he hadn't talked about for like 30 years.
He tells her, I grew up scared shitless of my dad. That's huge vulnerability for him.
And Sandy provides something he desperately needed, but maybe never had: organization and structure.
Right. And her support helps him focus on something genuinely stable, getting custody of his daughter, Sunny. He felt she was in an unsafe environment.
Sandy was the anchor. She was stability incarnate, seemingly.
So if she brought that stability, that organization, why the betrayal? Why blow it all up?
That's the core of it, isn't it? Despite having this organized, loving life he claimed to want, he felt trapped. Trapped by the new identity, the fame, maybe the normalcy itself.
And he confesses infidelity to her just days after she wins the Oscar, wearing that white dress. The timing is just devastatingly self-destructive.
It's like a self-sabotage mechanism kicking into high gear. He couldn't sustain the stability. He had to detonate it.
And the fallout was immediate and brutal. The news breaks the next morning.
And it confirms everything the public already thought about the heavily tattooed biker dude with America's sweetheart. He was totally unprepared for the media onslaught.
Calls it waves of toxic radiation. Paparazzi camped outside his house 24/7. Couldn't take his kids to school, couldn't rest, just besieged.
He feels trapped. Physically, mentally, can't work, can't function. He realizes he has to get out, has to flee.
And he remembers a friend mentioning Sierra Tucson, rehab in Arizona.
Yeah. And that drive down I-10, 500 miles.
Oh.
He describes it as just pure desperation. He even gets pulled over by a cop.
And a cop recognizes them. That was the whole story.
Yep. Asks him what's in Tucson, and Jesse just says, I'm going to rehab. Raw honesty in that moment.
So Sierra Tucson becomes this, like, isolation tank. No internet, no TV, no connection to the outside circus.
And there in therapy, finally, the breakthrough starts to happen.
What was the key realization?
He realized he'd been running his whole life like that abused kid he was, unconsciously recreating the trauma. And his anger, especially in relationships, it came from resentment that his partners couldn't, like, read his mind, couldn't magically know what he needed emotionally.
He learned that basic, painful lesson. Fuck, if you want affection, you gotta tell her.
Yeah. Simple but profound for him. And he commits to therapy, like he committed to welding or football. He works at it.
And he finds out he can actually help people there, like a woman who'd lost her kids. and that he needs people too, which undermines that whole lone wolf outlaw thing he built.
Completely. He leaves rehab feeling like he finally has some tools. He knows he needs to focus on his kids, break the cycle, and he wants to honor Sandy and himself by living a life that's, quote, sane.
So when you step back and look at the whole arc, what's the main takeaway here?
I think it's that central paradox. The identity he built, the outlaw, the tough guy. It required chaos to function. It fed on it.
But that same chaos inevitably destroyed the stability, the family, the structure he seemed to desperately crave underneath it all.
Right. And his recovery, his chance at sanity, it only really started when he stopped running and faced how his adult life was just echoing his childhood trauma.
It makes that acknowledgement section in the book really powerful, where he thanks people for being hard on him.
Yeah. Like the judge who gave him the max sentence every time, his tough football coaches. It really suggests he thrived on that external discipline because he lacked the internal kind. He needed the structure imposed from outside.
Definitely. The book ends with him driving home from rehab, having this realization, in the blink of an eye, everything we have can be gone. Which leaves you thinking.
Yeah, it prompts a question for all of us, really. What cycle of chaos, maybe smally, maybe different, feels familiar in your life?
And what might it take to actually choose a different path, a more conscious one, before, the consequences just become unavoidable?